Wonderful. So welcome to our April community call for CSTA Arizona. This is really our kickoff for our summer of virtual PD. Our board, CSTA board, has been doing a lot of work behind the scenes to get all of this ready and set up, and we're so appreciative of all the people who were able to call in. And without further adu, I would love to jump in and let you know, or rather hand the floor over to them so they can tell us about this amazing summer. Hopefully we're all able to look at this slide deck. And if not, the link has been pasted in the Zoom chat again. And I am now in that slide deck looking at slide number 6. And so if you're also following along on a computer, I invite you to join me on slide 6. You can see on the left side, we've got our agenda over there. And also there's a link to this document that says community updates. And I lied, I actually am going to share my screen for a little bit to show you these community updates. This is something that we typically do in our CSTA community calls. We have lots of folks from around Arizona who are on this call and have lots of things that they contribute to the greater computer science ecosystem. If you are someone on this call and has an event coming up that you'd like to let us know about, I invite you throughout the call to sort of fill in information on here. And at the end of the call, we'll circle back to this and check in what other events are happening in Arizona that our educators might be aware of. So if you're someone on the call who has things to add to this, please feel free to do so. And then otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and jump to slide number 7. And this is really the beginning of our agenda here with our community call. We were going to have an Arizona Computer Science Professional Development Week, and then everything happened in the world, as I'm sure we're all reacting to, and that caused this shift of a lot of things to go virtual. And we'll spend most of this call talking about the different opportunities that are available to us, which we think are very exciting and we're really thankful for. One of the ways to frame what's coming up, especially for us in Arizona, is the fact that we have new computer science educator endorsements that we as Arizona educators can get on our teaching certificates. And so as you hear from all of the different presenters talking through the different options that we have over the summer, something perhaps to keep in mind is how those might fit in with these new endorsements that are available. And so again, on slide 7, there are some links that are available that go to the different endorsements. There's one set for K through 8, another set through 6 through 12. And when you're ready to submit this endorsement, there's an hour sheet that you submit to the Department of Education. And there's a screenshot from part of that which highlights that as you read the endorsements, they talk about semester hours. However, written into this particular endorsement is the fact that 15 hours of professional development training translate to 1 credit hour that applies for this endorsement. And so many of these PD options that we have available over the summer will be over the course of not several weeks, but multiple days, several hours. And as those hours add up, they fit into and can build into this endorsement. Even more specifically, on slide 8, there's a little more granular breakdown of what the endorsement looks for. And both K through 8 and 6 through 12 have the same beginning endorsement in A1, the same beginning requirement for a foundational computer science course. And so some of the options you hear about tonight will probably fit that particular bucket. And then depending on if you're going for the K through 8 endorsement or the 6 through 12 endorsement, there are basically some additional almost elective and continued learning credits that you can look into. And so as you hear from some of the other PD providers and opportunities that are out there, you may see them fit into some of these other buckets that can apply for these endorsements. And so we're really excited to hear from all these different people. And as we as Arizona educators hear about these different opportunities, this is maybe something to keep in mind of how it can fit into our own professional development and our own stake continuing to teach computer science in Arizona. At this point, this is now going to be like a relay race where we're kind of tagging things out to different people to talk and present. And those folks are also welcome to share their screen if they'd like, or call our attention to different parts of this presentation. We're not going to have a ton of moments to turn things over to like the whole crowd to ask questions or make comments, but we've tried to be really intentional about using the chat as a place to do that. All our providers have also offered their email address to get in touch. And since these slides are editable, after each slide, there's a place to put some questions, and someone from CSTA will also be taking notes in each section. So hopefully these are ways where sort of covertly you can ask some questions or make some comments. and have our presenters respond to them in that way. Cool. So up first, I'm on slide 9 in our slide deck. And if you're just joining us, a link to the shared slide is also showing up in the chat. And I'm going to turn it over to Jason to talk about CSTA 2020.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Dan, for the introduction and for getting this all put together. I'm so happy to be here and to see everybody virtually, as it were. I don't know if you've seen the emails, we were super excited to announce actually that we're going virtual for the CSTA National Conference this year. And while it's a bummer to not get together and see everybody face to face, we think we're going to be able to have a lot more people participate this way, as the cost is going to be so much less now for everybody. So the week of July 13th is still the conference. That was the original week, so that hasn't changed. If you already registered for the conference before this all took place, you should have gotten some emails from CSTA National, and you're going to be automatically re-registered for the virtual conference, so you don't have to do anything. But now the conference is only going to cost $125. And if you're a CSTA Plus member, it's only $75. And the cost to be a CSTA Plus member is that $50 difference. So I highly encourage you, if you've been hesitant to become a CSTA Plus member, now's the time to do it, because you'll get the conference cost is the same, and you'll get that year of CSTA Plus benefits, and you'll be able to search those and check those out and see which ones you like to use and be a part of. So really, it's a win-win. In addition to the cost being much lower and no one having to pay for travel and no one having to pay for hotels, we're extending the scholarship application deadline to May 17th. If you previously applied for a scholarship, you don't have to reapply. We already have it, and we're going back through all previously submitted scholarship applications, because we're going to be able to give more scholarships now because our cost is so much reduced. So we're going to be able to scholarship more people. We're hoping more people come and attend and participate. We're still going to have all the great sessions. We sent out emails. I don't know, there's probably people here right now who are presenting at CSTA National this year. Everybody got invited to change their presentation, their session or their workshop, to a virtual session. We had really great feedback from everybody. Most people said that they would like to do that. Of course, the format's a little bit different, but you're still going to get that same quality PD that we were able to provide in the past, and at a much reduced rate. And maybe it'll even be a little bit more fun. We chose a platform, a newer platform, that allows participants in the conference to meet each other kind of randomly, kind of a roulette meetup feature, where you spin the wheel and you get paired up with someone at random, and you get 3 or 4 minutes to talk to them and meet them and see where they're from and see who they are and what they're up to. And then you can spin the wheel again and meet someone else. So we chose this platform because of that capability. All things being equal, we thought it would be fun to kind of create the in-person, that this platform recreated the in-person feel better than any of the other platforms. And it's a newer platform, and as you can imagine, they've been getting slammed with requests ever since this started. They've seen their business go way up, and they're super excited and super motivated, and so are we. So I'm really excited to be here to help answer any questions people might have. You can put them in the chat. You can put them in the slides. My email is right there. You can email me directly if you'd like, and I'll get you that answer. There are 2 links on the slide. One is to CSTA Arizona's page for more information, and one is to the national page that has some frequently asked questions about, if you had already applied, or if you had already registered for this particular workshop, or whatever else. So that's really all I have for everybody.
So Jason, can I ask you so something that's new for a bunch of us is just what a virtual professional development experience feels like. So right now, all I know is just Zoom meetings. We're just on meetings or Google Meet or whatever, and it's this sort of environment. And hearing you talk about this new platform, it doesn't totally feel like that. And so I guess I'm just curious, and we have a little bit of extra time dedicated to this. Can you speak a little bit more into, what does a virtual conference feel like? Are we all going to be on just a big Zoom meeting, having someone talk at us, or is CSTA trying to sort of recreate that actual conference feel?
So a little bit of both. It will feel at times like a Zoom meeting where someone's talking at you. The platform's name is Hopin, Hopin. If anybody wants to look them up, you can Google search them, and they actually have demos that are available that you can jump into that are about an hour long, and you can sign up for. And they give a really detailed, for people who are looking to purchase the product. But if you're just curious about what it looks like, I went through one of the demos. And so what happens is you get entered into kind of a big room with everybody. And then there can be some general sessions like keynote speakers where one person will be speaking. You won't necessarily see everyone's face. You'll see that there are, X number of people in the room at the time. And then there are, you would kind of like breakout rooms. There will be places for you to click and go into your different sessions. And then you can ask to participate in a session where it's almost like, being brought up on stage. You can click a button, and then the presenter then can click to accept you, and then your face can be seen by everybody else that's watching. So it's not necessarily like Zoom where you get to turn your video on and off, or you mute or unmute. There's a chat feature, just very similar to Zoom. You can chat with people individually or to the whole group like you can in Zoom. And like I said, that participation feature where you click and then the presenter brings you up on stage to ask you a question face to face, so to speak. And then everybody's watching that interaction. And the presenter can bring people up and then send them back and bring someone else up. So it's interactive in that way. And then it's a little less interactive than Zoom in the sense that you're kind of watching when you're not actively participating.
Awesome, thank you. And then also real quick, just so that it's kind of set out here, the audience for the CSTA conference, we have lots of educators on this call across the whole grade level, elementary and middle school and high school. So what's the audience for the CSTA 2020 conference? I asked this knowing the answer, but
yeah, I mean, this is a K-12 and university fully inclusive conference where I'm trying to help encourage more K-8 educators to get involved. It seems to we lean to the high school level because of those AP courses, I think, more than anything. But we would love to see more K-8 educators get involved, K-5 band and the 6th through 8 middle school teachers get involved. We have presentations and speakers that speak to all levels. We have workshops for all levels. So there's a place for everyone, and the chance to get to connect with some K-8 people that, aren't at your school and aren't in your state, so you can see what's going on all across the country. And here's another thing. We're marketing international this year since we're virtual. We're going to get some people from, across the pond. We're talking to some people in the UK. I have some potential chapters in Egypt and Kenya and the Philippines, and I'm trying to get them involved, even though there's a big time difference. So they might be joining us at 2 or 3 in the morning. But we have Canadian chapters in CSTA already who are going to be participating. So we're really excited. It hopefully has an international feel, an all-inclusive K-12 feel, and the target. I'm saying this not hesitantly, but we're hoping that registration goes live this Friday. That's our target date. So you can look for an email Friday explaining the registration process and anything else you need to know.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Jason.
Oh, no, thank you.
Awesome. So again, in our shared slide deck, which is going in the chat again, because you can't have it too much in the chat, we have some notes that kind of showed up on slide number 10. And if you have any other questions, feel free to either type them into the slide itself. Jason's email is up there, or in the chat as well. And with that, though, we're going to move on and hear from another one of our providers this summer. I'm on slide 11, and I'm going to pass it off to Denise to talk about the Oracle Academy. And I believe Denise is going to share her screen and show some things that she has available for us. Awesome.
Hey, thanks, Dan, and thanks everyone for inviting me to the call tonight. Hopefully you're able to see my screen, and I thought I would just take a few minutes. I recognize some of the names on our conference call this evening, so I know some of you know me and know what Oracle Academy does, but I thought what I'd do is just quickly run through, for those of you who don't know, what Oracle Academy is, and then talk a little bit about the Educator professional development we have available this summer. So Oracle Academy is Oracle's flagship global philanthropic program. So what that means is that we work really hard to advance computing education globally, just, in order to increase skill development, innovation, and diversity in technology fields. Oracle Academy is completely a free program. Membership to Oracle Academy is free. The resources that I'm about to outline are also free. We currently are in 120 countries, so we're also a global organization. And what Jason was saying about the opportunity for other chapters in Egypt and other countries to participate in this year's National Virtual CSTA Conference, I think that's amazing. I love that. So you may ask yourself, what in the world do we do? Well, we provide classroom resources, and the classroom resources fall into three really big buckets. And the three big buckets I'm going to dive into here in just a second, but as an overview, the buckets are student-facing curriculum, so curriculum that faculty can use in the classroom to teach students. Educator professional development, obviously, and then third and finally is software licenses, educational licenses for teaching and learning purposes in the classroom. So let's dive in just a little bit deeper. So when I say student-facing curriculum that faculty can use in the classroom to teach students, what exactly does that mean? Well,
Denise?
Yeah?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just realized, are you going through a PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, can you see that?
We can't. We can see the Oracle Academy website.
Oh, interesting. I'm so glad you said something.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I hate interrupting in the middle of things, but that
No worries. Let's try this.
There we go.
How about that? Okay, so I'm going to dive in a little deeper. This is what you should see up on your screen is our database pathway. So we provide curriculum that teachers can use in the classroom to teach database. When you see these kind of these bluish boxes, this is the actual what we call the full academic curriculum. There are 3 of those classes, and all 3, it's a progression. And all 3 are aligned to industry certification. The yellow box above is what we would call a workshop in a box. It's about 8 hours worth of curriculum, and it's ideally suited for our 7th and 8th grade students. The database foundations, database design programming with the SQL, PL/SQL classes, those are definitely upper high school and into college and university. And then you could see the alignment to certification as well. And then the second pathway, and again, this is curriculum that teachers can use in the classroom to teach students. The second pathway is really focused on Java. And all of our Java classes are already approved by the Arizona Department of Education. Again, yellow boxes are going to represent our workshop in a box. Again, really ideally suited for your 7th, 8th grade audience. And then our bluer boxes here are those courses, the full academic curriculum that are really suited for upper high school and into college and university. Now, something that Dan kind of told me about, or in his email, he indicated talking about continuing education credits. So I just want to, let you guys know that the second big bucket of resources that we offer is our educator professional development. Last year at the CSTA event there in Arizona, we came and we taught our Java fundamentals course. I know some of you attended that course. This year, obviously, we won't be there, so we are providing our Java fundamentals course again, as well as our Java programming course, and they are going to be offered virtually. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is you can actually receive, if you take these courses virtually, you complete the courses, you will receive a certificate indicating educator professional development hours, continuing professional development hours. And you can see that on this slide in the far right-hand corner, the amount of hours that equate to finishing those courses virtually, okay? The other thing I wanted to share with you guys, and I think Dan wanted us to talk a little bit about this, is what does a virtual Oracle Academy course actually look like? Well, it goes along these lines where you register for Oracle Academy if you're not already a member. Then you register for the course. You are then sent ahead of time information about the course. You'll be sent the webinar information, the phone number information, any information that you need to make sure that you are prepared for in terms of software, things along those lines. And then you log in the day of your curriculum and the day of your course starts, and then voila, you are actually in the course with your Oracle Academy instructor. And again, for those of you who took our Java fundamentals course, your teacher was Bruce. He is actually going to be teaching the Java programming course this summer virtually. So you'll have him again, and he will be online with you, essentially teaching you for that allotted amount of time. Now, what we do here at Oracle Academy is that we do, depending on the course, it's a certain amount of time per day. And it's usually two and a half weeks in a row. So for instance, it'll be every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Arizona time for an hour and a half. Right? So you'll engage, you can be in your home, you can be, wherever you have access to a phone and computer, you're good to go. Okay. And then you'll be engaging with the other teachers in your cadre. These teachers can be from anywhere in North America. And then of course your instructor, who is Bruce. And for those of you who are interested, who couldn't take the Java fundamentals class last summer, Bruce is also teaching that one this summer as well. Okay. I hope that was helpful. All right, I know there are a lot of schools in Arizona, again, because we were there last summer teaching Java fundamentals, that became a member of Oracle Academy. I would tell you that, if you are interested in participating in any kind of virtual training event this summer, it's easy to become a member. It's completely free. And then once you do become a member, you can access the professional development. You can then turn around and use the curriculum in the classroom next year, or with, in a virtual environment, potentially with students. Our work is ideally suited for 21st century teaching and learning, AKA online work. Is obviously also ideally suited for in-class, but it's really, really well done and can really help you engage with your students as you prepare them to focus on computer science standards and topics. There are some other one-off benefits of becoming a member of Oracle Academy. For instance, I know that our courses are aligned to industry certification, which is approved by Arizona Department of Ed. You can, in fact, download a coupon discount to be able to hand to your student should they wish to take one of those industry exams. You can give them a coupon for 25% off. So we've got other little one-off benefits associated with our program. And that's it. Those are just the quick things I wanted to run through, Dan. Don't hesitate to have, I think on your slide deck, I put my information and a hyperlink on how to join Oracle Academy. So, but certainly everyone in Arizona, feel free just to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to help and provide additional information if needed. And that's it for me. Thanks, Dan.
That's awesome, Denise. Thank you so much. I want to ask one question that I think I know the answer to, just for educators listening who might be thinking about getting started with Oracle Academy. The
Sure.
process to get approved requires like a principal to also sign off on. It's not something that we as educators can just do ourselves. Is that true?
That is my advice. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely true. Something you guys should probably know is that Oracle Academy is a completely free program. There's no gotcha, there's no catch, there's no hook. However, because we are literally handing you some of the world's greatest resources, what we need to understand is that you won't profit off of those resources. That's why we ask that your vice principal or your principal kind of guarantee your membership. They essentially are guaranteeing that, yes, my educator will not profit off of these resources. It looks like a lot of legal stuff, but I'm here to tell you, in the end, that's the bottom line. And I can tell you, educators globally, but most especially in North America, would never, ever do something like that. So.
Yeah, thank you. I asked the question just because, some of us might look at this PD and think, maybe in June decide to take something in July, but by that point it might be hard to get a hold of our principals or administrators to
Right.
help sign off on that. So if it's something we're thinking
Yeah.
about, worth to think about now.
It's worth thinking about before everybody, before the semester's done.
Mhm.
And again, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to walk everybody through the process. Obviously, I'm not going anywhere. I'm in my office, so feel free to, reach out, and I promise to respond right away and give you guys the kind of the cliff notes of here's how to do it. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Denise.
You're
Awesome. And so if you've kind of joined in the call, we are looking at a shared slide document, which guess where it's going? In the chat. And right now I am looking at slide 13. And we're going to hear from the CMU Computer Science Academy. I want to pass it off to Aaron. Aaron, if you'd like to share your screen, feel free. Otherwise, you can guide us through the notes over here.
Hello. I think it'll be just as easy to walk everyone through the slide deck, so I don't need to share my screen. But before I get started, the way that I've kind of set things up, I'm going to talk a little bit about CMU CS Academy, so that if you are not familiar with us, you can have a chance to get to know us a little bit more, and then I'll talk a bit about our professional development. So CMU Cs Academy is a project out of the School of Computer Science at Carnegie Mellon University, and what we're doing is building an online interactive high school computer science curriculum. So think of it like an online interactive textbook, curriculum, coursework to use in your classroom. So with that, we're committed to providing it for free to be online, world-class, and teacher-led in high schools around the world. The teacher-led portion is really important to us. Our resources are not meant to be a online standalone course that does not have a teacher involved. Teachers use our materials in many different ways in their classrooms. Some choose to lecture, some choose to serve as more of a facilitator role. But regardless, we really value the relationship that teachers have with their students. We all are educators ourselves. So it's really important to us that the teacher's relationship with their students is still a big part of the classroom with our materials. So with that, the founders of our project on slide 14 are David Cosby and Mark Stellick. David is most well known at CMU for a course called 15112 that he created. It's been ranked by Bloomberg News as one of the top 5 best computer sciences courses in the world. And it's an intro to CS course at the CMU level. Now, the resources that we provide through CS Academy are designed for 9th graders. So it's not the same level, but it's definitely built in the same spirit. Prior to working at CMU, David worked in industry as a software engineer for a while. And after that, he was actually a high school math and computer science teacher in some local school districts in Pittsburgh. So he spent a lot of time in the high school classroom. And we actually started out of some of the relationships he has with regional educators and administrators asking him to get something like this started. His co-founder, Mark Stellick, some of you might know him. He's been around for forever. He's been at CMU for over 30 years. He's one of the founders of our undergraduate program. He used to be a chief reader for the APCSA course, so he's also very familiar with this space. And myself, I actually am the CSTA chapter president for our Pittsburgh chapter. And I was a K-8 computer science teacher before moving into this role a few years ago. In addition to that, we have a couple other full-time staff members that work on the technical side of the house, but we also have a team of about 30 undergraduate students here at CMU. They're involved in all different aspects on the project. They help us with the UX design, they help us with web development, the exercises throughout the curriculum they help create, which is part of the reason we think our curriculum is so fun and engaging, because the students that are building a lot of the resources that high school students are interacting with are things built by kids that are like 4 years older than them. So it can be very engaging and fun. But the other side of the house that they really help with is our teacher support. So one thing that we provide in addition to our curriculum and our professional development in the summer is ongoing continuous support. So when you have a teacher account on CS Academy, there's a little button that says support, and it pops up a window for you to be able to send a ticket, a question in. And that is a direct line to our team of undergraduate students here at CMU. So they are mostly CS majors or a related field, all very happy, passionate, excited to help you all with what you're doing in your classroom. So the question could be about the curriculum. It could be about some idea that one of your students has that's just crazy off the wall and you want to help guide them through it. It could be a feature update idea. Whatever it is that you'd like to share with us, send it through that support tool and we're going to get back to you right away. With that, I'm going to move on to tell you a little bit more about the platform and the curriculum that we provide itself. So our courses that we currently offer are all in Python. So they're all Python programming. But it's also graphics and animation based. So we're doing that with our own graphics package, CMU Graphics. So students are programming in Python with a graphics package, and it's all browser based. So there's no downloads or installs. It works perfectly on a Chromebook. We also offer professional development. We offer that asynchronously, which is built into the teacher portal. You always have those resources available to you. We're also running professional development virtually this summer. In typical summers, it would also be in person, but you know, it is what it is. In addition to all of that, the course materials itself, the notes are interactive, and all of those exercises throughout the curriculum are auto-graded. In our CS1 course, which is our flagship course, there's about 300 exercises. So having them auto-graded is really helpful with just managing your classroom. We also have an anti-plagiarism feature, which is fairly simple. That feature is just that students cannot paste back into the website, so they can copy and paste while they're within the site. They can copy out, but they cannot paste back in. So now I'm on slide 17, where I just break down the courses that we currently offer. I'm gonna briefly give you an overview of these. So CS1 is our flagship course. It's the first course that we built. It's about 120 hours of instruction. It's meant to be a full introduction to programming at the 9th grade level. The idea is to give students a solid foundational understanding of programming so that they can move on to future CS coursework in a variety of areas. In addition to CS1, we also have CS0. CS0 was created with middle school teachers or summer camp or out of school time providers in mind. So it's really meant for a situation where you don't see your students as often. It's only about 40 hours of instruction. The way I always describe it when I'm comparing it to CS1 is it's a light introduction to programming. So you're just stepping into the shallow end of the pool rather than diving into the deep end. The APCSP course, that is actually in a little bit in the works to be in collaboration with code.org. So the idea there is it's actually modules that only plug into the programming units of code.org's curriculum. We piloted this year with a number of educators. and replaced Units 3 and Units 5. So those materials are available to you now. If you have a teacher account, you can view them. They will look quite a bit different for next year because the College Board and Code.org are both making some major changes to their APCSP curriculum. So with that, our materials will change as well. But we're not creating a full APCSP course, just modules that plug into the programming units of Code.org's curriculum for teachers that are looking to continuing using our platform or that would prefer to offer APCSP with Python programming rather than the JavaScript option. All of our courses are text-based programming, so there isn't any block-based options that we provide. And all three of these courses, CS0, CS1, and APCSP, are all have no prereqs. So there's no prerequisites for any of those first three courses. CS2 is a course that's going to be available for everyone, not this coming fall, but the following fall. We're piloting that this coming year. And that course is going to take everything that students have learned in CS1. So it will have the prereq that they've taken CS1 and apply it to other subject and topic areas. So imagine things like CS and art, CS and music, data visualization, cybersecurity. And our plan is to have enough different course options that a classroom teacher can pick and choose ones and build a semester-based or year-long based course that it's going to cater to the interests and needs of their student population. So that's pretty much what we have in the pipeline right now. We also are currently converting CS0 and CS1 to Spanish. If anyone on this call is interested in that and would potentially want to be part of our pilot this coming fall, please take down my contact information and let me know because that pilot is still open. And that's kind of our first step into language translation of our courses. Slide 18.
So we're coming up on sort of the end of the 10-minute chunk. So I guess I wanted to ask, what can you tell us about like the summer PD experiences? Yeah, okay.
Cool, thanks. So thank you for that. So slide 18, watch it on your own time. That was kind of the plan anyway. And 19 through 22 are all just screenshots of the platform if you wanted to look them over. But everything that we do is free. I don't think I've said that yet. So feel free to sign up for a teacher account. You can explore, no strings attached. Our PD this summer, we're having two options. So the week of June 22nd to 24th, we will be holding our what would have been on campus PD virtually. I have a link to sign up for that on slide 25. The only catch there is it will be run from 8:30 to 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is not ideal for Arizona educators. So what Daniel and I have worked on is the idea of offering another option for Arizona educators that will be the week of July 22nd through 24th. So same dates, just different days of the week. And the way that we're going to run that is on slide 24, you'll see a sample of what our schedule will look like. These times will be in Arizona time. And the idea would be the lectures will be pre-recorded. So you'll be able to see our professors, David and Mark, lecturing on these topics. And then the TA supported time, that breakout time will be specifically in a cohort with other Arizona educators. And we will have a ratio of at least one student team member as a TA from our project to 10 teachers. So really nice, tight little cohort, getting a lot of support from our team as you go through the curriculum, getting to know other Arizona educators that are also using CS Academy. We don't currently have a link out for that one, but that's something that Dan's going to be sending out to you, I believe, in the future. So I don't want to take up any more time, but if you go to slide 25, all of the contact information for me is available there. Email me, tweet to us, go to Twitter to check out awesome projects that students have created on our platform. I'm retweeting things like that all the time. And if you wanted to sign up, if you're an early morning bird and wanted to sign up for that June PD, the sign up's there for you. Thanks.
Awesome, Aaron. Thanks so much. So on slide 26, we have some notes about that. I just want to echo that this is a program that could fit for both high school students, but also elementary students, or not elementary, excuse me, middle school or after school programs. So that is an option available for some folks. Aaron, you also got some questions on that slide. So at your own convenience, feel free to answer them. You could also put them in the notes down there too. However you'd like to asynchronously handle that. And just to address that last point, we do have the registration and sign up available for the July PD option on our CSTA website too. So that's ready to go for folks to sign up. Cool. Okay, we're going to go on to slide 27, and we're going to hear from Jared about an awesome opportunity for elementary educators to get some Scratch PD. I believe Jared is called in, so I'm going to mute myself and see if Jared wants to.
Dan, can you hear me?
Ooh, yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm called in because I'm unfortunately at the vet for emergency vet. So sorry I can't be here on the phone, or rather on video, and actually share some visuals of some of the things I'm going to talk about. So each one of those links that's on the slide that you're currently looking at kind of gets you to a variety of resources that you can use right now. But to kind of start, I want to just talk about what the PD session is for what it was formerly AZ CS PD week, but now just kind of summer PD stuff. So the session that we're going to do is an intro to Scratch with a particular focus on integration. So this is recommended for teachers who might be interested in integrating CS, but don't have a background in this, maybe haven't done this before, or maybe you are used to CS and you just haven't done Scratch in particular. So our focus in the curriculum and in the PD itself is on interest-driven learning, so giving kids choice and opportunities to kind of create things that are interesting to them through project-based learning projects. So what we're actually going to do in the session that we're going to have over the summer is we're going to model how to teach several Scratch projects. After we go through several of the projects in Scratch, we're then going to kind of unpack using a framework called TPAC. So we're going to say, okay, what was the technological stuff you need to know? What did you need to know about the platform Scratch? What was the pedagogy that we were modeling? How are we talking about guided questions, or how did we model debugging processes? And then the last one is the content knowledge. So what was the CS related stuff that you were learning while doing this? Now, after and throughout that discussion, we're also going to talk about just a variety of other topics relevant to the things that we modeled. Towards the end of the PD session, we're then going to focus primarily on, okay, now that we've gone through these projects, what could we do to integrate these into the subject areas that you're teaching? So maybe you're a music teacher, or maybe you're a math teacher, or maybe you're just a general classroom teacher that teaches a variety of subjects. We'll be able to bring all of those perspectives to the table and kind of talk about ways to modify projects to fit them into your class. So the idea is to kind of take a teach a person to fish approach. So that way when you walk away from it, you go, okay, maybe we worked on several projects today, but on our website, there's nearly 100 projects that you can go through in Scratch Junior and Scratch. So you'll at least have some understandings of how to go through those on your own when you leave the session. Okay, so the second link that's on there is just a link, the one that says further your learning with free resources. It links to stuff like the CSK podcast. It links to a spreadsheet with over 100 unplugged lessons, all sorts of other stuff that you might find useful for your classroom and you can use right now. So the next one is specifically for, because of COVID-19, the remote learning resources. So at the top of that particular link, there's a video where I kind of walk through, okay, how can you use our lessons and resources right now at home, whether you're a parent or a teacher? So if you're interested in learning more about that, check that one out. And then the third sub-bullet point on there is a link directly to the application. So we've partnered with Amazon Feature Engineer, and what they've basically done is provided funding so we can do our normal 50 plus hours of PD that we usually do over a 3-year process, but we're going to provide it for 1,000 schools for free. So if you're interested in filling out a short application to apply for that, go for it. And if you aren't and you know of a district, cool, maybe send that link over to them. Okay, so the next chunk of bullet points is just access to the free curriculum. Always going to be 100% free, so I'm not going to change that anytime soon or ever. The K2 stuff is Scratch Junior, and then the 3+ lessons are for Scratch. Now, in the 3+ lessons, there's a link to the lesson plan, so that's for the adults, whether it's the parents or the teacher. And then the coder resources are kind of resources designed for kids. So like visual and video guides that walk through how to create a project and all the extensions, as well as some other stuff like debugging challenges for each one of the projects. And then the final thing that I just kind of want to briefly mention is that I'm going to be presenting a few sessions at the virtual CSTA National Conference. So if you're interested in seeing some of the sessions on like integrating music in your classroom and using microbit in with Scratch and things like that, check those out. So hopefully that was quick enough for you, Dan.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Jared. I just want to ask a question that I think I also know the answer to. So, you know, usually boot up is something that requires like a district partnership, like the Amazon partnership and things like that. But this summer session on Scratch is open to everyone. Anyone can attend it. Anyone can get into it. Is that true?
Yeah, great point.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Normally we only do full district-wide implementation. We don't want to work with schools that only want to work with gifted and talented. We don't want to work with schools that are only doing after-school stuff. We only want to work with schools that wants to make it equitable for everybody. So we typically turn away teachers who are just individual teachers and say, hey, check out code.org. Hey, check out this other platform that you can use that does PD. But with this, we're going to kind of give you a little bit of a taste of what we do in our PD.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jared. We've got also some registration for that on our CSTA website. We'll have some links to that kind of at the end of this. I think we're still a little flexible on the date, but it would be sometime in July is what we had talked about. Is that right, Jared?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks so much. No questions have popped up in our chat or on the slides. If they do, I'll let you know, Jared. Otherwise, his email address is somewhere.
Jared at bootuppd.org.
I'm going to add that to the slide. There we go. Jared.
Thank you, Dan.
At bootuppd.org. Great. Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. All right. And so we're moving right along. I'm on slide 29 on our big shared deck. And we're going to hear about code.org through our regional partner with the Arizona Science Center.
Sorry about that. I forgot to unmute myself. You know, gotta love the fun of being in meetings. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Beth Nicol with Arizona Science Center. And as Dan said, we are the code.org regional partner for the state. We've had this designation for just a little over a year now. And so we are very happy with our facilitators and our partnership with code.org. What I have put on here is just I put a link to our website in case anybody wants to get on the website and check that out as far as what we offer for our code.org workshops. But as you can see here listed, we do offer all 4 of the different code.org workshops. Our CS Fundamentals is really that very beginning intro course for our elementary teachers, giving them some of having the ability to go in and explore and learn on their own, because as with all of the code.org workshops and professional development trainings, there's no experience necessary. You can be brand new like me, who knew nothing about computer science before going through these courses. So our K-5 CS Fundamentals is that very beginning entry course. A lot of those foundational skills, looking at how to incorporate computational thinking and computer science in plugged and unplugged activities. For those teachers who have either on their own gone through some training with the CS Fundamentals or used the curriculum with their students, and they want to gain more an in-depth understanding of the strategies and pedagogy used to teach at the elementary level, as well as how to integrate it across the curriculum. Then we have our CS Fundamentals Deep Dive. Working up into our middle and early high school, we've got our CS Discoveries workshops. And this is, like I said, for teachers of grade 6 through 10. Again, it is kind of that beginning level content. Again, no experience from the teacher needed. But this starts, the CS Discoveries and the CS Principles really start our in-depth instruction on teaching computer science to students. So both CS Discoveries and CS Principles would have traditionally been a 5-day summer course with a full day follow-up once each quarter, so 4 times throughout the year for a total of 9 days of professional learning opportunities. This summer, as you all know, we're going to be revamping that a little bit, and I'll go over that in just a minute. And then the final workshop that we offer is the CS Principles. And this is a higher level introductory course. Again, no prerequisites for students or teachers to be able to teach or take this course. And this one does align with, and it can be taught as an AP course as well. And I think Aaron was talking about it, but Code.org has really worked very hard and very collaboratively with the College Board in order to update our CS principles to be in alignment and with the new AP requirements for computer science. And if you go down to the next slide, looking at our summer sessions. So as I said a minute ago, traditionally we would have had a 5-day in-person course and then the 4-day in-person spread out throughout the school year. Well, we all know with all the funness that's happening right now that we're going to be going virtual. And so we are going to offer both our CS Discoveries and our CS Principles cohorts over the course of a 2-week period in July, mid-July. And so the way we have this worked out and the way we're spreading this out is it's going to be over 10 days, but it will not be all day long, obviously, all 10 days. It will be a couple hours every day in order to get that content to you guys, as well as having the opportunity to really dig in and explore with the curriculum on your own, as well as in small groups. So there'll obviously be a combination of the synchronous and the asynchronous options. Code.org has really taken this very seriously, and instead of just trying to take the 5-day agenda that we normally would have done, they're working with an online provider, an online course developer, and really looking at how to integrate the best practices for virtual learning in this platform. So there'll be some, of course, virtual face-to-face, I guess you would say, as well as some things to do as online courses and group work as well. We are still working with and trying to develop our CS Fundamentals virtual courses. We are in process. Our facilitators are working on that and collaborating with some other regional partners across the state. And so we will be getting those dates announced and out there, but we do plan on having at least 1, if not 2, dates for our CS Fundamentals and CS Fundamentals Deep Dive during the month of July for CSPD month. And I don't know if I actually put my email up there or not, so I will add that in a moment. But if you have any questions, please reach out to myself and I'll be happy to work with you. Not only do we do individual teacher PD, but we also work with schools and districts who want to implement and really want to bring in equitable computer science to their school and their district.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Beth. Looks like you're getting a question on our slides. So
okay.
At some point you can go in and take an answer to that as well. Yeah, and so that's great to hear about our Code.org options. And so if you have questions, you can contact Beth. We can also put questions in the slides or on our Zoom chat as well. Cool. All right. Moving right along. So Code.org offering things all over the spectrum and continuing up into that high school level. We're going to hear from Pauline Lake and about CS Awesome. Hi, Pauline.
Thanks, Dan. Hi, everyone. My name is Pauline Lake. I work with the National Center for Computer Science Education. The center houses Mobile CSP, which many of you may have heard of, which is an endorsed provider for CS Principles. And we are now the home of CS Awesome. CS Awesome was recently created. It really came to life the first time at the beginning of last year. And we were really trying to focus on next steps. We had done plenty of professional development and developed curriculum for CSP with mobile CSP. And as many of you know, CSP was created to help get more girls and underrepresented minorities into CSA. So we wanted to take that next step to help take all the teachers we had trained previously, all those students, and support them and help them transition into the CSA course. So our focus is that transition for both the teachers and the students. Everything about our curriculum is developed with that in mind. We are at an AP level, so we are now actually an endorsed provider for CSA. We're approved by the College Board, 100% aligned to the new framework. And one of the things, in addition to the transition that we focus on that makes us unique, is we really focus a lot on scaffolding. So there's lots of opportunities within CS Awesome. There's interactive code where students can actually go into the Runestone ebook. They can do their coding and programming directly in the browser. There are what are called parsons problems or mixed up code problems where students can move code around. And they can also get feedback, and it will give them help if they are struggling on a problem, and so it will assist them if they need it. There's lots of scaffolding for the FRQ questions, for the labs. We have a couple of them. I think there's 3 that are built in right now. It's in our syllabus if you're interested. And then we always try to make sure there's creative and pair programming that is built in at the sort of the end. So every topic, every concept that students are learning about, we give them some sort of like fun, engaging challenge that they can do with a partner at the very end to put everything together. At the bottom there, I kind of just tried to put in a couple of screenshots there. The active code is using Replit, I always say that wrong. But the active code, the students can edit directly in the Runestone ebook, or they can actually open it up in the Replit website. So just moving on to slide 33. Our student ebook that I'm referring to is a free book that is on Runestone Academy. Many of you, if you have taught CSA or heard of CSA or done anything with Runestone Academy even, may have heard about the Java Review course by Barb Erickson. So we partnered with Barb to update her work. So we took all of her original work that she had and incorporated it into CS Awesome. So CS Awesome is really the ramped up new version that meets all of the CSA College Board requirements now, and we very much collaborate with Barb. One thing that often stems from that, when teachers like they say, "Oh, I recognize that. I know Barb Erickson's. I know Runestone," is teachers often don't realize that there's more to this. Right? There's more to CS Awesome. We have an entire free set of lesson plans for teachers that are available. So if you were to visit teach.csawesome.org, there's an entire set of those lesson plans that are there. So for every student lesson that's in the ebook, there's a lesson plan that can guide the teacher in delivering that lesson in the classroom. There's worksheets and supplemental materials. Our lesson plans actually focus on like there's sections about flexibility and differentiation. We call out those areas for teachers. We have suggestions on culturally responsive teaching strategies that can be used. We try to give creative ideas and activities that can be done besides just telling the student to do the activities in the ebook. We have a couple of sections in there, again, staying true to our goal, to referring to CS teaching tips and the transition from CSP to CSA. So every lesson plan actually has a section that points out, hey, teacher, this is a section that your student may be able to relate something from CSP that they had learned to help them understand this concept, as well as pointing out to the teacher if they're transitioning themselves, maybe their first year CSA teacher, they can relate back and say, hey, I did this in CSP, I taught this concept before, it's pretty similar, I can focus on that transition. We also have lots of comparison. So mobile CSP was blocks-based app implementer. We take the blocks-based programming and we compare it and place it next to the Java programming. So we have that document available so that way students can quickly reference that whenever they would like. If I may, I would like just to show you sort of what an example of a lesson looks like, and then show you what the lesson plan looks like. So the lesson plans are available through joining our Google group that we have available. So I'm just going to try to quickly share my screen. Let's see if we can do this. And I may need to do this a couple of times because I think I have them in different windows here. All right. So this is our CS Awesome Runestone ebook. Hopefully everybody can see it okay. Our main course page is here. There's a table of contents. I'm in the main course right now called CS Awesome, but it is customizable. So like a teacher can make their own copy of the course and have their own teacher dashboard. But this is the main course right now. An example of a lesson would be 1.3 variables and data types. So in this lesson, typical structure would be there's some type of introduction to the topic that the students are going to learn. This one's a pretty easy one because it is very comparable to what's already known from CSP with variables. There is usually some type of video. So I think that's one thing that we definitely want to improve on moving forward, is trying to make more videos that are our own content, adding those in. A lot of these that are currently in here are just repurposed videos, like they're quick and to the point and help get the concept across. As you go through, there are like highlighted notes that are called out, important ideas. There's lots of interactive check for understandings that students can do to get immediate feedback and do formative assessments. As I keep scrolling here, they learn a little bit more information, and then they can go on and actually practice it here. So this is the active code that I was explaining, and I got to get this just right with the scrolling. The active code, so they get a challenge that they should be doing with some exercise. They actually edit the code directly in the browser window here, and then they can save it. Teachers can see their responses in the teacher dashboard and be able to grade it through the dashboard. They can also, as I said, they can open it up and work directly in Replit as well. Yeah.
Sorry, Pauline. So I think we're coming up on the end of our 10-minute chunk. I was wondering if maybe you could speak to what the summer professional development starts to look like.
Sure. Yeah, that was my next slide. Just the last thing I was going to show is what the mixed up code problems look like. You can drag and drop the code. All right. The lesson plans, like I said, they're there. I'm sorry, I didn't get to show them. They're there, and they have all the different sections that I have shown on the previous slide. So just moving on to slide 34. We have sort of two different tracks of PD that's available. So we have PD that is for our teachers that would be experienced in Java. That's considered our immersion PD. It's approximately 45 hours of PD. And then for teachers who are new to Java, it's about 65 hours of PD, and we call that extended. So essentially, all teachers do the same PD, same 45-hour PD, but if you're new to Java, you have the option to take an additional 20 hours of pre-work in just the Java content. So that way you can get caught up on the Java and get some familiarity with it before jumping into learning about the curriculum and other aspects of the framework itself for CSA. The way that our professional development works is it's online. We do approximately 10 hours per week, and we do both synchronous and asynchronous work. Teachers work together in a small cohort where they are guided by a master teacher or facilitator that is an experienced CSA teacher and also trained by the National Center for CS Education in equity and pedagogy and instructional teaching in computer science. The cohort really works together and is a support system for one another. So there's the small group, and the idea for the Arizona teachers would be that we would have you join one specific group, and then we would assign you a master teacher that is close in your area, and then all of you actually decide when are the times that you're meeting together to do the work online at the same time. So typically there's an hour-long presentation that would happen maybe towards the beginning of the week, where you'd get an introduction to what the topic is for the week. You'd get some assignments that you would be assigned to do. You'd go off, you work on your own, always having your group sort of at your fingertips. You can email them or your master teacher at any time. They're dedicated to you for that entire PD and the academic year. And then you come back together for a second meeting, typically, where you kind of debrief and talk about how things went with those assignments. Were there struggles? Were there questions? You know, what additional help could be needed? Can the master teacher show you how to do certain things, or just other questions? And that's a time for everybody to go over that. We do have scholarships available, limited scholarships for teachers who are transitioning from CSP to CSA. If you've never taught CSA and you're going to teach it for the first time in this coming academic year, and you've taught CSP previously, you are eligible for a scholarship with us. The information is available on our website. You can apply for that and just say that you're applying based on wanting to be in the Arizona PD. There's also a grad credit option that we offer through the National Center for Computer Science Education, which is at the College of St. Scholastica. That option is available 2 to 3 credits typically with some additional assignments. So that's also an option that teachers like to have at the end. Just to wrap up, the other big thing I wanted to mention is besides your group, we also have a really, really awesome Google group where all of our teachers are invited. Any teacher that has found our resources, uses our curriculum, they have joined our Google group. And there is always a team member that is always there, can respond. There's master teachers, facilitators, but there's also the other teachers. So you can send an email and get a just-in-time response with teachers from across the country who may be having similar issues or can offer help. And I've been noticing it's been a really awesome community to have for our teachers, and just witnessing that in the times that we're experiencing right now has really been awesome, and seeing that kind of develop and see it in action is really, really awesome. So there's so much support that's there, and we're dedicated to you when you do the PD with us to help make sure you are supported and confident and able to teach the course.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Pauline. I really appreciate that. You've got a couple of questions, I think, on slide 35 that I'll let you kind of either in the speaker notes or in the chat, you can go through some of those. One that I think I just want to call out super briefly is someone said they applied for a scholarship and when can they hear back? I don't know if you have a quick answer on that process for hearing back about scholarships.
Yeah, so if you were an Arizona teacher that applied, I held off, and we held off as a team responding because we didn't know what was going to happen with the PD and whether it was going to go virtual or not. So now that we have that decision and we know it is going to be virtual and we know what dates we're offering you, which is on that slide 34, we're going to start processing those applications. So just bear with us for right now. I will get to all of them and I will make sure that you are contacted.
Awesome. Thank you, Pauline. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah,
and
thanks.
So, yeah. So we're moving on to slide 36, and we're excited to hear from Nan about Girls Who Code. Oh, Nan, I think you're muted.
Okay, can everyone hear me now? Awesome. So I'm going to send you my presentation in the chat bot, and I'm also going to share my screen. Let's see here. And are you able to, okay, hold on. Can everyone see my screen? It is loading.
Awesome. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Well, hi, everyone. It's good to see some of our partners, our facilitators, and some friends of ours. I'm going to go through this presentation pretty quickly. It's about 7 minutes. So my name is Nan Pham. I am the Regional Partnership Coordinator for Girls Who Code. For the past 2 years, I've been expanding our free Girls Who Code clubs programs across Arizona, New Mexico. And from inspiration from our girls themselves during quarantine, I'm learning statistics as well as data science. So why computer science? And you probably already know some of these stats, but real quick, 58% of all new STEM jobs are in computing, and the average salary being $100,000. So while we may think most of these jobs are in traditional tech companies like Google and Facebook located in the Bay Area, in actuality, 91% of these jobs are located outside of Silicon Valley. And in fact, 67% are in non-tech fields like entertainment, medicine, banking, and more. So this means there's a huge opportunity for our young learners to use their skills in a variety of different fields all across the country and in our backyards. We also know that there are almost over 500,000 open computing jobs across the country, but we're only graduating 40,000 computer science graduates every year. This means there's a huge technology jobs gap that we really need to address. We also know that the number of women in computing jobs are declining over the year, and the gender gap in technology is actually widening. So if you see at this graph, in 1995, women made about 37% of the computing workforce. Today, we make less than 24%. And if we don't do anything about it, this trend continues and we'll make less than 22% within the next 5 years. So when we look at higher education specifically, we also see that only 19% of students who receive a degree in computing are women, and only 2% are women of color. So at Girls Who Code, we're working diligently with all of our partners, our facilitators, to increase female representation in computer science so that we're not only closing the gender gap in technology, but we're also closing that technology jobs gap. So thanks to our friends at code.org, the landscape of computer science in Arizona, there's about 16,000 open computing jobs across the state, but we're only graduating 1,000 computer science graduates. And of those graduates, only 19% are female. So our mission at Girls Who Code is to inspire, educate, and equip our girls with the computing skills they need to thrive. Our vision is to reach gender parity in the computing and technology sectors. And so we do this through our free Girls Who Code Clubs program, which are free computer science program for 3rd to 12th graders of all genders, so not just girls, led by facilitators, and they don't need computer science background. And this is because we provide flexible plug-and-play curriculum, customizable lesson plans, a club success specialist for ongoing support, so you're never alone in this process. We have alumni programs such as virtual mentorship and a job platform. And then we do have this $300 Clubs Fund grant. Once you enroll 3 students, you can use this money for food and drinks, robot drones, anything that will get the girls excited. So just our alumni benefits. So if our students decide to go into higher education, they can join our College Loop programs. We do have virtual mentorship. And we have our Hire Me job platform, which is dedicated specifically for our girls. Who we serve, girls who are underrepresented in computer science in terms of race, creed, or background, those who identify as female regardless of gender assignment at birth or legal recognition, those who are free and reduced lunch eligible, and those who have little to no access or exposure to computer science education in school. So as I mentioned, for our Girls Who Code Clubs program, we do welcome all students of all genders. Our education philosophy is threefold. So we focus more on just code, so breaking down problems, computational thinking. We're really building out a sisterhood that our girls can lean on, not just girls, but also role models and mentors. And we recognize and we know that real-world relevance and impact is important to retaining our education, so we do have some project-based learning components. So these next couple of slides will kind of give you an idea of what a club session may look like for our 6th to 12th grade club. It starts off with a sisterhood activity, which is basically an icebreaker and energizer. It's followed by a women in tech spotlight. So we want to showcase really inspiring female role models in the industry. The big portion of our club is self-guided and self-paced tutorials. There's 10 different ones that they can choose from, and we're always adding more, ranging from beginner to advanced. So far, the languages we offer is Scratch, Python, JavaScript, Thunkable, and Swift. And as I mentioned, we do have that project-based learning component. So the girls will come together as a team, use what they've learned in the tutorials to build a Girls Who Code project. This is a website, application, or game that addresses an issue they care about. So some of our girls have focused on mental health, ocean pollution, hunger. It's really broad in terms of what they want to focus on. And then it ends with a stand-up. This is, again, what you typically see at a tech company. The girls will come together, provide feedback, and then they'll continue to build that growth mindset. So this is brand new. We are offering our 6th to 12th grade clubs for the summer, if this is something that you're interested in doing. Our 3rd to 5th grade curriculum is very similar to our 6th to 12th grade curriculum, but it's more of a book club. So it starts off with a sisterhood activity, and then they'll read and reflect on 1 or 2 or both of our books, Learn to Code, Change the World, and The Friendship Code. They'll work on a creative computer science challenge. This is like 20 to 30 minutes. We do have unplugged offline activities, and then we have online tutorials via Scratch. And again, it ends with that stand-up. So what you need, you'll need a space at a nonprofit like a school or a library, community center. You'll need technology and internet, specifically for our 6th to 12th grade club. Our book club can be offline, so you don't technically need technology and internet. And then a facilitator and decision maker. So the facilitator is leading the actual club. The decision maker says that you can have the club at our site. This person can be the same, these people can be the same person. So if it's a teacher, they can also be the decision maker since they're employed by the school site. So in response to COVID-19, we have launched Girls Who Code at Home activities. This is just additional free resources. We launch new tutorials and new activities every week, and you can take a look at that link in the yellow box. So Girls Who Code over in Arizona over the years. So in 2018, 2019, we had 147 clubs. Last year, we launched 400 clubs, so we've grown exponentially. And this is due in part because of our facilitators and our partners that are also on this call. Arizona clubs span across the entire state. We work with public school districts, charter schools, city municipalities, community-based organizations, and state departments. So far we have reached over 300,000 girls or served over 300,000 girls to date. Last year we launched over 8,500 clubs. We now have over 40,000 college-age alumni who are choosing to major in computer science and related fields at a rate 15 to 16 times the national average. And over 50% of our girls are from historically underrepresented groups. So this is the exciting part. Thank you, Dan and CSTA, for the invitation. We will be launching and facilitating fostering equity in STEM virtual sessions throughout July, throughout the PD month. So one per week. So July 6th from 4 to 5 p.m. July 13th we'll be at the CSTA National Virtual Conference too. And then we'll go back to the Arizona for July 21st and July 27th. So in this, we'll talk about how to foster inclusive environment. We'll talk about how to increase female role model representation, how to create holistic STEM programming. We'll go through some of the content, the actual curriculum itself, to kind of get you an idea of what a club looks like. And thank you for joining. So the two links is one to start a club. The other one is registering for the Fostering Equity in STEM. If you want to take a picture of this real quick, you can, but of course, we're going to send it in an email, or you can just let me know and I can send it to you separately. Cool.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Nan. Let me also mention that the two links that she just showed are also back in our slide deck. They're also on slide 36 as well. And a link to Nan's slides are also available in that part as well. Maybe I'll highlight it so it's a little more standout-ish. Yeah, so that was really awesome. Thanks so much. Really excited to have all of these virtual sessions coming up. I also want to acknowledge that we have gone past the hour community call. So just thank you to everyone who is here. And to sort of wrap up these last few pieces, I'm on slide 38. And so we've now heard all of these different opportunities that we have for Arizona educators, and who knows, maybe even more to come. And we now have gone from a computer science PD week to sort of a computer science PD month, which I think is super exciting. And so on slide 38, there's a link to our page that has a bunch of the resources that are available for teachers, and more information about each of these programs and all of the other information you might need to share with other educators or share with your administrators, or get some more background about any of these programs. Also in the next few, within the week, we'll also release this recording sort of chunked out so we can have these individual pieces of everyone talking about their PD programs. We also have all of these events available on our CSTA calendar, where it'll link to the registration page for all of these different pieces. And so I might even share my screen for a moment and show you a little bit of what that looks like. And we'll take a look at this here. And so If you were looking for something in June, you can see all of the different Oracle Academy pieces that have started. The CS Awesome starts, the CMU Academy has started here. And as you go into July, we also have all of the different Girls Who Code sessions, the code.org sessions are beginning, and you get a real clear picture of what a summer might look like. And so if you're someone on this call looking at these different pieces and wanting to register for them to at least get your name on the list and be in touch with our different providers, this calendar has information that you can get to that has all the pieces. Or if you just want to see it in a big list, you can also view it as one big list of everything that's coming up. So really excited to offer these opportunities. Hopefully this is in an organized way where you can find things you're interested in and also share with other folks who might be interested. To some of our providers who are listening on the call, if you have your own registration system, those link to your own place to register, not always to what's hosted by CSTA Arizona. Awesome. And yeah, so that was slide 38. I want to give a moment on slide 39. We have our link to our community updates as well. And I know some folks have added some pieces to that. I'll go ahead and share my screen so we can take a look at what's been included in this part now. And I actually want to scroll down and skip to the third one on here because I know that Alan is still on the call. Alan, do you want to speak a little bit to some of the opportunities available that PopFizz has going on?
Oh, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Dan. Yeah, so we offer 5-day coding boot camps, and we also have a kind of a lightweight LMS taught in a browser. So our 5-day coding boot camps are set for a few dates in May. We have May 11th through May 15th, also May 25th through the 29th, and we do one-on-one support for those as well. So it's about 15 hours overall, but we do schedule a one-on-one meeting with you that could go from 30 minutes to an hour if needed. And we also have self-paced PD, all taught in our virtual learning management system as well. And we're also a curriculum provider as well, endorsed by college boards. And we've got auto-grading features, and we have a great Raspberry Pi course and Python, APCSA and APCSP.
Awesome. Thanks, Alan. Alan, would you mind adding maybe your email address so folks have other questions, they can get in touch with you? And then we'll also condense this into something that gets sent out to our members. The other pieces that are on, or sorry, did you have another thing to add?
Oh, that's it. Thanks so much.
So a couple other things that are on here. Both of these people had to take off early because we ran a little late. But the ASTIA has been hosting these esports events that have been going on. There's one tonight, actually, which is why Nan had to take off. But if your school is interested in participating in esports, which is now an AIA-sanctioned event, students can compete in it in the same way as football or baseball or basketball. This is now something that ASTIA is doing to help spread the word and get interested in that. So maybe something to share with an athletic director or other folks who might be interested in leading this sort of esports event. Also, when you're thinking about your summer, Arizona State University is offering a series of summer classes that also fit into the CS endorsement. They apply for both middle school and high school. There's a course that is on block-based languages and another course that is on text-based languages. These are specifically designed to fit the requirements of the Arizona Computer Science endorsement, available for Arizona educators. Shin has left his email address on here if you'd like to get in touch with him. Registration's happening soon. They're online, and that's a great way to also look into increasing your own computer science knowledge and build towards that computer science endorsement. So I will stop sharing my screen, and back on the slides, I think we made it to the end of this meeting. You should all give yourselves a round of applause. To all of you who are out here, thank you so much for attending this meeting. This has been our largest one so far. Please keep in touch with us. Please keep in touch with these providers. These videos will be released later if you want to send them to administrators or fellow teachers. We hope this has been informative. And with that, we won't take any more of your time. It's almost 6 o'clock here in Arizona. Thanks so much for attending.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Hey, Dan, are we staying on for the board meeting?
Yeah, so CSTA board members want to stick around. We'll chat for a little bit.
Hey, Dan, this is Jeremy Woodward. How you doing?
I'm good, Jeremy. How's it going?
Good. Hey, is the contact information through your amfi.com? Is that the best way to get a hold of you?
That's the best way to get a hold of me personally for,
Okay.
yeah, that's good.
I just want to touch base.
Awesome.
Bye.
See you later, Beth. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, if you're still hanging out in this meeting, no offense, I'm going to start kicking people out as we, oh, and I need to stop recording.